There was once a time when Italian football was up there on the pinnacle of football. They won 4 World Cups, produced some of football's greatest legends, some of football's most impressive technical maestros, some of the most terrifying defenders. Players that we may never see again. Italy was once a destination for the world's best players, the best talents. There was a time when everyone wanted to play in the Serie A. But now, there is no bigger joke than Italian football. They just got knocked out from qualification for the 2026 World Cup by Bosnia and Herzegovina, a country with a population less than Italy's capital, Rome. The Serie A is widely considered the most boring league to watch, even if there are different Serie A winners every year. Italian football used to be known for being intense, out of possession, for good defensive football. Now, it is a destination for players who have finished their prime careers at the top level at other clubs in La Liga and the Premier League. They go to the Serie A and look rejuvenated. Look at KDB and more impressively, Luka Modric. Modric looks like he's 25 in the Serie A. The Serie A turns these players into Benjamin Button. They age backwards. The best Italian team got embarrassingly knocked out of the Champions League by a Norwegian team that at the time didn't even start their domestic league football. Inter make a Champions League final and lose 5-0. I know it was a historic PSG team, right? I know it was a treble-winning team, but 5-0 in a final? I'm not Italian, nor am I an Inter fan, but I was so embarrassed to watch that game for them. So how on earth did we even get here? Many trace the demise of Italian football to that infamous scandal in 2006, the Calciopoli scandal. Now, many of you have heard of this by now, but it saw Juventus stripped of titles, relegated to the second division. They've built themselves back up since then, becoming a domestic powerhouse since, but their poor European record speaks for itself. Since then, the Premier League has adapted to modern football, La Liga has adapted to it, even the Bundesliga has adapted and is a much better league than the Serie A. The Bundesliga that gets so much stick for not being a top league is way better than the Serie A. The problem with Italian football is that they are way too romantic, in my opinion. I understand the appeal of the classics, right? Italy as a nation is a historic one. It's the home of the greatest civilization that ever was, the Renaissance, all of these historic events, right? So Italians generally tend to romanticize the traditional, the cultural, the historical aspect of things. And I understand that. I'm a bit of a history nerd myself. I love Italy. I've always had an affinity with Italian football, particularly their national team. And this sentiment that they have, it's the same with football. Unfortunately, they are stuck in the same tactics, the same training facilities, training methods, the same stadiums that they had in the days of their prime, way before the Calciopoli scandal. And for a historical romantic like myself, it might be beautiful to watch, but looking at it from a more rational sense, it is exactly why they are not at the top of football anymore. While other leagues adapted, Italian football just stayed where it was. And this cost them so much. This is now the 3rd consecutive time they are missing out on a World Cup. Imagine, this is a nation that has won 4 World Cups, the second most after Brazil, and they haven't played a World Cup since 2014. For context, in 2014, Barack Obama was still the president of the United States. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was all over cinemas. Sir Alex Ferguson was just 1 year removed from retirement. Ebola was becoming a huge problem in Africa. Think of that for a second. That was ages ago. I was in elementary school when I last saw Italy play a World Cup. As a football fan, it is sad to see this demise, but the harsh truth is that footballing glory has left the country. These World Cup misses have ripped up the delusion that Italy is still a football powerhouse. The rot and the decay has set in too deep, and those at the head of their federations have just ignored everything, turned a blind eye, and kept doing the same thing year on year. Yeah, they won the 2020 Euros, but looking back now, in hindsight, that looks more like a one-off than a resurgence. Italy is no longer among the footballing elites. They no longer produce generational players like Maldini and Pirlo. Their best and promising talents play outside of Italy, namely Sandro Tonali, who currently plays for Newcastle and is heavily linked to a move to Man United, one of the biggest clubs and one of the most historic clubs in world football. Riccardo Calafiori, one of their most promising defenders, is challenging for the biggest trophies with Arsenal. Now Alessandro Bastoni is being linked to Barcelona. You get the gist by now. Italian players generally in the past have had a reputation of staying in Italy, but over the years, that trend is changing. They are constantly seeking to play their football elsewhere, and for good reason. As a footballer, as a player, you want to play at the top level, challenge for the best trophies, and unfortunately, Italian teams just don't offer that. They can no longer match the technical and the physical standards of the elite. So who do you blame for this? The federation? The manager Gennaro Gattuso, who by the way in his heyday was one of the most feared midfielders in Europe? Who do you blame? Do you blame the players? I don't even know at this point. The rot is way too deep to point the finger at one party, and it shows just how broken the system is, just how shattered their legacy is. They're not even a launchpad for young talent anymore, but it's a destination for semi-retired players that are like 38, 40. Some of their best players, some of the players that are tearing it up in the Serie A, are players who can't even kick a ball in the Premier League or La Liga, even in the Bundesliga. One of their best players, one of their poster boys right now is Luka Modric. Let me say poster boy because he might be 40, but he plays football like he's 25. He's rolling back the years. The same thing for KDB. Italian football is just on an embarrassing downward spiral, both domestically and internationally. And as a football fan, I have to say they will be missed. Not because they offer insane quality to the game, but it's just so sad to see such a historic nation crash out in this manner. I've always had this affinity for Italian football. I don't know what it is, but like there's something that always drew me to Italian football. But man, it's just sad to watch. It's really sad to watch. It's sad to see such a historic nation have such an embarrassing downfall. Hopefully they find themselves back up. Hopefully they fix this. Hopefully they just tear everything up and reinvent the wheel again. You know what I mean? Reinvent the wheel, rejuvenate your players, rejuvenate your stadiums, rebuild your tactical systems. I don't know. It's looking very grim for Italy, and it saddens me to say this, but it doesn't look like it's getting better anytime soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Quick one, I have a video coming out on Alessandro Bastoni's potential move to Barcelona. It is in the works. I had to pause that to make this video because of what happened recently. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.